It was a Monday to remember in Lowe's Angels, a day that began with tension hanging thick as the smog and ended with more than one relationship teetering on the edge of collapse. Secrets long buried clawed their way to the surface, and the bold and the beautiful lived up to its name: bold confessions, beautiful lies, and a whole lot of heartbreak. The calm before the confession. At Il Giardino, the morning sun streamed through the windows, bouncing off wine glasses that hadn't yet been filled. Deacon Sharp moved restlessly from table to table, setting things in order that didn't need fixing. His eyes betrayed the storm inside him. Something was coming, and he could feel it. Enter Electra, every bit the enigma she's been since arriving in town. Her expression was unreadable, but her silence was deafening. Deacon offered a cautious smile, his voice low and steady. "Morning. You look like you didn't sleep a wink," he said, though the edge in his tone hinted that he already knew why. Electra hesitated, glancing around as if the walls themselves could hear. "We need to talk," she said finally, and that was enough to make Deacon freeze. Electra's revelations. She sat, clutching her coffee cup like it might anchor her to the earth. Then, in a trembling voice, Electra began to unravel a truth that had been eating away at her since the night of Luna's accident, a night that had set off a domino effect of chaos in Lowe's Angels. "Deacon, I didn't come back to town just for Luna," she confessed, her eyes locked on his. "I came back because of what I found out about Sheila." At the mention of his wife's name, Deacon stiffened. "Sheila," he echoed, voice rough. "What do you mean, what you found out?" Electra swallowed hard. "You think she's changed. You think she's moved past the violence. But Deacon," her voice broke, "she hasn't. She's been manipulating people again. She's been lying. And I think she's behind what happened to Remy." The color drained from Deacon's face. No, that's impossible. Sheila swore to me." "Sheila swore to everyone," Electra interrupted sharply. "But that woman doesn't swear, she schemes." The truth hung in the air like poison. For a long moment, Deacon didn't move. His heart wanted to reject every word Electra said, but his gut, the one that had kept him alive through years of bad decisions, whispered otherwise. The scene at Forrester Creations. Meanwhile, across town at Forrester Creations, Will Spencer was not in the mood for design sketches or fashion talk. His blood was boiling. Remy had been caught in another half-truth, and Will had finally had enough. The young Spencer had grown up watching his father manipulate people for sport, and though Will shared Bill's temper, he had a stronger sense of moral outrage. "Remy, do you even hear yourself?" Will exploded in the design office, packing like a lion in a cage. "You lied to me, again." Remy looked cornered, his usually smooth charm flickering like a dying candle. "It wasn't a lie," he said weakly. "It was a delay of information." "Delay," Will scoffed. "You told me you didn't know who tampered with Luna's car, and now I find out you helped Electra cover it up." Remy's eyes widened. "I wasn't covering it up. I was protecting her. You don't understand what she's dealing with." Will slammed his hand on the desk, his voice thundering. "I understand that Luna almost died, and if Electra's secrets put her in danger, then she's no better than Sheila Carter." The words hung like a death sentence. Remy's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Deep down, he knew Will was right, but admitting that would mean turning against the one person who'd trusted him when no one else did. Deacon's world shatters. Back at Il Giardino, Deacon sat across from Electra in stunned silence. "You're telling me my wife tried to kill Remy?" he asked quietly, disbelief lacing every word. Electra shook her head. "No, I'm saying she used him. She wanted Remy to take the fall for something bigger, something that's still happening." Deacon's mind raced. What could Sheila possibly gain from dragging Remy into this mess? Electra leaned closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "Control, always control. She's building alliances again, people who owe her, fear her, or love her too much to see the danger." That was when Deacon stood, pushing his chair back with a loud scrape. "I don't believe it. I can't believe it," he said, more to himself than to Electra. "Sheila's changed. She's been working so hard." "Working hard at what?" Electra's tone cut through his denial. At pretending, at keeping you in the dark. Deacon, she's not reformed, she's reloaded. Those words broke something in him. He stared at Electra, torn between fury and heartbreak. If you're lying to me. I wish I were, she said softly, but the truth is uglier than either of us can handle. Will and Remy's final blow. The argument between Will and Remy reached a boiling point as Hope walked in, her eyes widening at the sight of the chaos. Hey, what's going on here? She asked, stepping between them. Will turned to her, his face flushed with anger. What's going on is that Remy been keeping secrets, again, and people could have been hurt because of it. Remy threw up his hands. I was trying to fix things. I didn't want to drag Electra down. She's already dealing with Sheila's mess. That name made Hope pause. Sheila, she repeated carefully. What does Sheila have to do with this? Will sighed, rubbing his temples. Apparently, everything. And if Deacon doesn't wake up soon, he's going to lose more than just his restaurant. Remy, realizing the room had turned against him, muttered something under his breath and stormed out. Hope called after him, but he didn't look back. Will exhaled, anger giving way to exhaustion. He's in over his head, Hope. And Electra, she's either the key to this whole thing or the next person Sheila destroys. The cliffhanger. As the sun set over Lowe's Angels, Deacon returned home to find Sheila waiting for him, humming softly as she set the dinner table. The domestic scene was almost too perfect, and for the first time in months, Deacon saw it for what it was, a performance. She looked up with a smile that could melt granite. You're home early, she said sweetly. I thought we could have a quiet night, just the two of us. Deacon's eyes darkened. We need to talk. Sheila's smile faltered. Oh, about what? About Remy, about Electra, about you, he said, his voice cold and shaking. For a split second, something flashed in Sheila's eyes, a flicker of panic, before she masked it with a serene grin. I have no idea what you're talking about, sweetheart, she purred. Deacon stared at her, torn between love and fear, truth and denial. Don't lie to me, Sheila, not this time. The music swelled, the camera zoomed in on Sheila's face, that infamous smirk returning, slow and deadly. Careful, Deacon, she whispered. You might not like what you find out. And with that, Monday's episode ended, leaving viewers clutching their seats, wondering whether Deacon Sharp had finally seen the real Sheila Carter, or just the part she wanted him to see.